So a fresh new week has arrived, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend, I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week, play resumed after the AllStar break, so things are starting to really get serious as the season approaches its end, and we've already seen a few massive performances, so we definitely have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. PrizePicks is a skill-based, real money, daily fantasy sports game where you select 2 to 6 players and guess if they will hit more or less than their projection. And if you get it right, you can win! Plus, with their new Demons and Goblins lines, you can now win up to 100 times your original entry. Obviously, we're all basketball fans here, but PrizePicks has almost every sport you can think of available to choose from and play. To add to the fun, they also offer frequent bonuses, discounts, and weekly promotions, such as Taco Tuesday and Flex Friday, plus so many more specialty free spaces to watch for throughout the year, so you don't want to miss those. For today's slate of games, I'm going with Michael Porter Jr. to score fewer than 18.5 points, Luka Doncic to dish out over 9.5 assists, and Kyrie Irving to make over 1.5 threes for this week's entry. To sign up, go down to the link in the description and use promo code REFERENCE when you sign up to get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from James, and he says that even though a lot of fans have soured on him, the Knicks need Julius Randle if they're going to find success in the playoffs. Julius Randle is definitely a polarizing player. There's no denying it at this point. He might be the most talented player viewed in a mostly negative light in terms of their actual talent, because as this take states, half of his own fan base doesn't even think he's a reliable player. Randle is a 2-time member of the All-NBA teams, he's a multiple-time All-Star, and his averages of 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists per game are easily better than most give him credit for, and yet the assumption is that he holds the team back. The Knicks are also 3.2 points per 100 possessions better with Randle on the floor this year versus when he's not on the court, so again we see more evidence proving his value to the squad, and yet when people look at the Knicks, the biggest reason why most fail to fully buy into them making a run is because of him, and the craziest part of it all is that even with all of the good things that I just told you about Randle, all of the hesitation and doubt is still pretty much justified. The lights of playoff basketball shine way brighter, and Randle has proven time and time again that he struggles to handle the pressures of playoff basketball. He's played in 3 playoff series in his career, and in all 3 of those series, his performance has fallen off a cliff. Despite being a 24 to 25 point scorer every year in the regular season, he has never averaged more than 18 points per game in a playoff series. His field goal percentage in those 3 series went from 29% to 33% to 41%, which is quite simply pretty abysmal for a go-to option, with all of their eliminations able to be traced back to him shooting them out of games. Going back to the original take, obviously the Knicks are not a better team without him. They are at their best when Jalen Brunson is putting pressure on the defense off the dribble and Randle is getting his typical 25 points per game, banging down low, and creating mismatches with his face-up game. The problem is that Randle has a history of holding his team back when it matters most, making this whole situation a double-edged sword. The Knicks do not have enough firepower without Julius Randle to win a title, but at the same time, it's very difficult to buy into the good side of Randle showing up in the playoffs, so the feeling of "I need to see it to believe it" amongst fans is more than justified in my opinion. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Kenny, and he says that Kyrie Irving is the best second option in all of basketball right now because he knows how to play that role perfectly. In today's NBA, if you want to compete at the highest level, you need more than one all-star talent, so when it comes to this take in particular, Irving is up against some pretty stiff competition because pretty much every good team has a really good second option. Kyrie Irving's track record as a second option has been one of the most prolific in NBA history, as he helped LeBron James win a ring in Cleveland back in 2016 as his second in command, and as the original take states, talent alone isn't all that goes into being a good second option. Being an all-star caliber player that has to defer to an even better player in the offense isn't always easy, and we've seen some great duos on paper fail for that exact reason. Looking at the landscape of the league, the Phoenix Suns are a team that immediately jump out as a group that can challenge this stake, because whether you view Devin Booker or Kevin Durant as the second option on that team, they're both players that I think are better than Irving in this role. Then there are teams like the Nuggets with Jamal Murray, the Lakers with Anthony Davis, the Bucks with Damian Lillard, and the Clippers with Paul George, amongst many others, who do have second options worthy of being in this conversation. If I have a team with an established superstar leading the way, I'll be honest, I'm taking Kyrie Irving still over most of those guys. He had a phase where he wanted to be the one leading a team on his own, and he got humbled a bit when he was in Boston doing that, which I think actually helped him come to terms with a healthier mindset about being the number two, because in Dallas, playing alongside Luka Doncic, and even in Brooklyn playing alongside Kevin Durant, he has played some incredibly efficient basketball, knowing when to attack and when to defer, which is tough for players with big egos to do sometimes. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Michael, and he says that in order to save the NBA's All-Star Game and make it actually competitive again, they need to follow the MLB's direction by giving the winning conference home court advantage in the NBA Finals. The NBA's All-Star Game at this point is just embarrassing. There's no two ways about it. There's pretty much nothing intriguing about watching these guys jog around the court, jacking threes and running a glorified layup line without even a shred of defense being played. Similar to the NFL's Pro Bowl that suffered a similar fate for a while, change desperately needs to be made if they want this product to actually be something people are excited to tune into again. The NFL has actually managed to turn their Pro Bowl weekend around for the better, changing the game to flag football to both reduce the risk of injury and to incentivize the players to have fun playing the game and compete. The MLB, as mentioned in the original take, used to reward the winning team's conference with home field advantage in the World Series up until 2017, but things like that could still all be in play for the NBA. I think there are a lot of ways they could go about changing the All-Star Game for the better, and while I don't think it's that realistic to get NBA teams to buy into giving home court advantage to the finals proposal, there are a lot of good ideas floating around. My favorite of the bunch is to push for a 1v1 contest. 1v1 featuring the best players in the world is something they could all take pride in performing for, and it's a ton of fun for the viewers. Ultimately, the current state of the All-Star Game is just a joke, and needs fixing soon, so it's up to the league to find a way to spice things up. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.